Boys and girls, Mrs. Ballard gave me this book, and it's called My Name is Gabriela, and it's by an author who tells about growing up in Chile. So let's continue and see what the book is about. My name is Gabriela Mistral. It is a name I chose myself because I like the sound of it. I love words and sounds and stories. When I was a little girl, I lived with my mother and Emelina, my sister, in a small house in the beautiful Elqui Valley in Chile. From my bedroom window, I could see the Andes Mountains. When I couldn't sleep, I would look up at the mountains and wonder what could be beyond them. Zebras with polka dots? Rainbow-colored flowers? Angels reading books? I love words. I like the sounds that they made rolling off my tongue, and I like the way that I could express how I felt. When I saw a beautiful butterfly fluttering, I noticed the way the words fluttering butterfly sounded together, just like a poem. I taught myself to read so that I could read other people's words and stories. I read stories about princes and princesses, and about monsters, and about birds and flowers. I also like to write poems, sing songs, and tell stories using the words that I knew. I told stories about happy times and sad times, about mothers and babies and little children. When I grew up, I became a real teacher and writer. I taught the children of Chile, and many of my students became teachers themselves. I still wrote poems, happy poems, sad poems, stories of mothers and children, but I also wrote poems about animals, about parrots and peacocks, and even rats. I also traveled to faraway places. I never saw zebras with polka dots or rainbow-colored flowers, but I met wonderful children and their teachers. I traveled to Europe, to France and Italy. I traveled to Mexico. I traveled to the United States. Everywhere I went, I wrote and taught and met teachers. I saw how all over the world people wanted their children to learn. My stories traveled the world with me. People like to read my happy stories, my sad stories, my stories of women and children, my stories of parrots and peacocks, of old lions and of fisher folk who slept in the sand and dreamed of the sea. And because people all over the world loved my stories so, I was given a very special prize, the Nobel Prize for Literature. When I accepted the grand award, I thought of the beautiful mountains outside of my window in Chile, of my mother and my sister, of the children of my village, and of all the stories that need to be told.